Good morning! Once again, back with my thoughts from this morning's workout. Went for a nice run, a little lift, and anyway, one of the services I went to this week on Tuesday, I think it was about surrender. And that's something that I constantly am working on and is constantly a learning process for me, because if you're anything like me, I am a planner. I like a schedule, I like routine, I like to be mentally prepared for whatever it is I am responsible for or am setting out to do. I like to have a schedule, all that stuff. And life happens. Things don't go according to plan all the time, and especially not according to your plan. And there was a sermon I had heard like a few months ago that was called "There's No Such Thing as a Christian Control Freak." And that clocked me because as someone who, I don't want to speak it over myself, but is a control freak or was a control freak and is working on no longer being a control freak, it's something that I had to realize, like, you can't call yourself a follower of God and try to be in control of everything at the same time. Like, you can't say that you believe that God is good and that he's all powerful and he works everything for your good if you don't actually depend on him and trust in him. And the part of it that, like, I constantly have to remind myself, I think, is like, you can't compartmentalize God. Like, I think so often, especially when we read the Bible and we see like the time in history, we think like, oh, like God doesn't know what Bluetooth is. Jesus was here when they were walking from country to country. There's no way he knows like how YouTube works. There's no way. I got interrupted. But there's no way he can have his hand like over my algorithm. There's no way he can be working in like the most nitty gritty specific part of my life, And what I've realized, especially over time, is that nothing is off limits for God. Nothing is off limits for God, and nothing is better when we try to have it in our own control. And the thing is, like, I like to plan all this stuff. I like to feel like I'm in control of my life when at the end of the day, I am not at all. And that comes with, like, that's a requirement, I feel, of, like, knowing God, is that you have to want what his plan is first, and you have to trust that it's the best one. Because the Bible tells us he withholds no good thing from us. So if it's meant for us and it's good for us, he's going to give it to us. He's not going to withhold stuff just because, oh my gosh, that opportunity looks so great, or oh, that relationship with that person looks so great. God is going to give it to you, and it won't be so hard to try to keep in your life if it's what he wants. And not to say that you're not going to face trials with things that are worth having, because nothing worth having comes easy. But sometimes if something is really just not working, it's a way of God trying to show you that it's not meant for you. And, a lot of times we want to drive the car and we want Jesus in the passenger seat, and he can be, he can give us the directions, he can tell us where to go. But we're essentially the ones driving the car, when God really wants us to be in the back seat and for him to drive. And that's just something that I'm continuously working on, and what I'm trying to put into practice more lately is just every single decision I make, big or small, consulting God first. Like, even if it's like, what color shirt should I wear today, God? You know what I mean? Like, just making it a habit to ask him first about stuff. And because I've looked back on times in my life when I've made big decisions and not even took the second to ask God what he wanted me to do. And sometimes it's worked out, and that's the mercy of God. That he just still blessed me even when I didn't care about what he thought. But sometimes it hasn't, and that's been my fault, you know what I mean? And so I just don't want to take any more risks with my time, with my energy, with my effort, with my life. And I just think it's really important to just consider God's opinion on every single decision you make, which is something that I am trying to work on lately, and I encourage you all to work on as well. So, happy Thursday. Have a wonderful day. The sun is shining, and we're healthy, and we woke up this morning, and we're going to conquer the day. Stay blessed.